The term homegrown terrorism means the use, planned use, or threatened use, of force or violence by a group or individual born, raised, or based and operating primarily within the United States or any possession of the United States to intimidate or coerce the United States government, the civilian population of the United States, or any segment thereof in furtherance of political or social objectives, sometime soon, likely in 2014 or 2015, we will begin to see these homegrown terrorism reports throughout the news headlines. We can see constant bombardments of homegrown terrorism messages throughout the news. We can see the idea of homegrown terrorism appear in the acts from the National Defense Authorization Act and the practicing of homegrown terrorism drills now seen for the past several years being done in the United States. From this event could be what causes the country into the state of martial law, then bringing in the FEMA camps, which are also called secret torture provisions. Understand that they didn't write the National Defense Authorization Act the way it is and practice these homegrown terrorism drills throughout the United States for the past several years for no reason. Those of the New World Order will be behind this all. We can see them practicing, preparing and waiting for it to happen. Remember the Freemason motto, Ordo et Chao, meaning order out of chaos, as you can see it fitting in with this agenda. This agenda will be aimed towards Muslims in America. They will say that they are working with the so-called enemy, Jihad, Al-Qaeda, Muslim Brotherhood. This agenda connects back to Syria and the Syrian civil war. As seen from many photos shown, as they say, there is a fear of Americans going to Syria and coming back from Syria. They will say Americans are working with or have worked with those in Syria while acquired skills and will use those skills in the homeland to cause terror. They will stage acts of terror in America to scare the populace into place. People who pose a threat will be targeted, being labeled as an enemy combatant, and those targeted will then be captured, detained, and put into the FEMA camps, secret torture provisions, in which they have set up already throughout the country. During this they will of course have their funded and trained patsies out committing these acts of terror, just as how they've done with every other false flag that has happened.
when a member of Al-Qaeda or a similar associated terrorist group is captured, I want that person to be terrified about what's going to happen to them in American custody. I want them not to know what's going to happen. I want the terror that they inflict on others to be felt by them as a result of the uncertainty of not knowing that they can look on the internet and find exactly what our interrogators are going to be limited to.
There's a proposal pending on the floor of the United States Senate that would say, for the first time in American history, that if a United States citizen decides to collaborate with the enemy, they cannot be held as an enemy combatant. I think you're very familiar with the history of the law in this area. The law of the land is that if you choose to help Al-Qaeda, you've committed an act of war against your fellow citizens, and you can be held as an enemy combatant for an indeterminate period of time, so we can gather intelligence about what you may have done or about what you know about the enemy.
The great concern that we have now in terms of the security of the homeland is from so-called homegrown terrorists, radicalized Americans. So these people, in my opinion, have taken sides. They've joined the enemy. And to have this body at this time, as the threat of homegrown terrorism rises, say no, they can't be treated as enemy combatants.
And when they say, I want my lawyer, you tell them, shut up.
Your time has
Get a
expired.
lawyer. You're an enemy combatant.
Now a few things to note is that I can observe by the places in which these drills have been taken place in is that it is more likely to see this begin somewhere in the areas of Washington, California, Carolina, Chicago or New York, as these places have been real hot spots for their drills. So any of these places named might be their target of choice. Again, before ending this video, remember, those of the New World Order, the Illuminati, they will be the real ones behind this all, not the Muslims, not your ordinary American citizens, so don't fall for it. Thank you for watching, and please share this video to wake up the people to this coming agenda.